Alright, good morning guys. Another rainy day, but it's November and it's pretty warm, so we're going to go ahead and tackle the exhaust on the Aston Martin. We have Velocity AP Exhaust Manifolds, Velocity AP 200 cell cats, upstream, downstream, new O2 sensors. I got some harness extensions, some gaskets here. We got the flashing tool, ECU flashing tool. And then I have these really cool jacking pads. So if you guys know, Astons are a pain to jack. But these should definitely help it make it a little easier. I never done this before. Try to look online for some videos, instructions. Hopefully I can video this for you guys. I got a friend coming over who's going to help me out here. We're going to learn as we go. I think the plan is we're going to get the car jacked up, take the wheel out, take the liners out so we can access the manifolds from both sides. And we're going to take the cats, the OEM cats out, and then work on the manifolds. Kind of reroute the new O2 sensors through the heat shield and button it all back up. Easier said than done. This is probably going to cost me a couple knuckles here, but let's get going. Alright, first up we're going to go ahead and break the lugs loose so that when we jack up the car we can then finish it out and take the wheel out, and then we will take the liners out. So 21mm deep socket for the lug nuts here. Alright guys, we just got the wheels out. We're going to go ahead and get this liner out. It's going to be a T30, combination of T30 bolts and Phillips. So let's go ahead and get this. Okay, so the one down here under the jack point, there is a T40 that you need to get. So word of advice is to do that before you get the jacks under there. So loosen that liner up there, right where the point is, if you're using quick jacks. And if not, then you can get a T40 and a 5/16 wrench and literally clip it in like that and do it manually. It takes a lot longer, but we didn't know that, so lesson learned. Alright, we're going to get the liner out and then we're going to go and move to the cats under the car. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get started here. We're going to take the secondary cats out here. 3 flanges. Those are the primary cats that go to the manifold. 13mm. And then we're going to take the donut gaskets off, 13mm here. And then we're going to go ahead and take possibly these are Torx bits, T30s, right here to drop the H pipe so we can get the cats out. So we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so that wasn't too bad. We got the 200 or 600 cell cats at OEM. So basically, this manifold here has a stud. So 2 studs right here with nuts. This one just had a nut on this end here. And then same thing here. This manifold has 2 studs. This one wasn't too bad. So what we did here is my friend had a genius trick. He just used like a 2-foot extension. Kind of routed it through the back so that you can actually get some leverage on that. So not too bad here. Then what we did here is again 13mm on these donut flanges. We loosen them up, and then the trick is you push the X or the H pipe back towards the car, and it'll give you the space to take the what is this, maybe like an inch or so, inch that you need to unseat it from the studs here. So the cats are off. Now the next step is we're gonna mark the heat shield where we have to reroute the O2 sensors. But when we do that, we'll take these two bolts off here and the bolts in the back that you see over there. Take the heat shield out, drill them so we can route the O2 sensors. We'll go ahead and get the sensors here and right there off, and then we're going to work in the liners to see if we can get access to the 13mm nuts to get all the manifolds out. Alright, here we go. Okay, here's the old cats here. These are 600 cell cats OEMs. These are 200 cells. So as you can see here, there's the upstream, downstream. This one doesn't have any on it. It's all in the exhaust manifolds, which is why you need the harness extensions, because the old harness ends up way up here. We're going to go all the way down here. So you'll need those harness extensions. But look at the difference in size here. So definitely worthwhile. And then you can see here, here's the manifolds. This is where the cats were, the primary cats. That's where the upstream, downstream sensors were installed, but those are deleted here because you really only need those right there. So we can see through the fender liner if we can get access to the manifolds, and we'll go ahead and get that
So
started.
behind these two pieces of insulation, there's 3 snaps on each. You can see the blue clips, which are the O2 sensors. Press this little back part and they come off. But if you take these out, you don't have to remove the O2 sensors before you take it out of the car, and you can just pull these down. But we are going to have to go ahead and mark these so we know which one is which. And these little snaps you just need to be really careful with because it's a fabric insulator. But there are 2. You can see both of them here, and there's another one under here, and you just kind of got to do that.
Alright. Okay, so you have to go and get the sensors out, and just like it is on the passenger side, on the driver's side, actually we can go through the fender liner here. It's much easier. That blue tab here is what we got to get out, and it's surrounded by, let's see if I can even get this right, this heat shield. You see here, see these buttons, it's almost like denim jean buttons. You got to unplug to get access to the sensor here. Once you unclip that, you can go ahead and start getting the 8 bolts out, or nuts. I think they are 13mm, Mike?
Yes.
They are 13mm, so you're going to need a bunch of extensions, wobble joints, and potentially some S-wrenches to get access to them. So let's go ahead and get that done. Alright guys, this is on the passenger side. This is the 4th O2 sensor here. This is the heat shield. It's much better angle. You can get it from underneath the car. My buddy's going to go ahead and just kind of use a flathead to split the clip. Make sure you don't push so you don't jam it through and tear the heat shield.
Done.
Easy. All right.
There are, if you look under here, there are some clips, so don't just pull the cable. We're going to have to undo those too.
All right. I have a wobble joint 3/8. I have 13mm deep socket to a wobble 3/8. I have a 1 foot and a 6-inch. And then I have a 3/8 to an impact socket here. So we're gonna go ahead and use this combination, and that should get us there. Alright guys, we're about to go under the car here. So as you snake your way here to the fender liner, there they are right there. So we're gonna kind of go in through this control arm, between the control arm, which is right here, and you can see them here. I think I have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 in that corner there, and then I'm gonna have to reposition. So let's get ahead and do it. All right, so we just got the right side and left side, all the nuts out. They're all sitting there. Mike was working on the other side, which is very similar, a little bit easier access to get to than the passenger side. This is just a variation of tools. Like a 2-foot extension here, 3/8 ratchet that's flexing, 3/8 ratchet that's not, a foot extension, 6-inch extension, 3-inch extension, another 3-inch extension, some deep sockets, an impact socket, wobbles, a couple wobbles, and this thing really came in handy. This is a very flexible 3/8 extension here. To kind of bend, I would highly recommend, so you can bend it like that. It's on a spring-loaded impact wrench. But yeah, we finished that up. Got the heat shield out as well, and the motor mounts, which I'll show you underneath the car. We loosened the motor mounts. We're about to lift the engine about an inch or two to get the manifolds to wiggle out. So the motor mounts are 15 millimeters. So now the fun part about trying to move the manifolds out. Okay, so underneath the car here, here are the motor mounts. Right in this section here, 15 millimeter one here. There's another one right where my finger is here. There's two. So we're gonna go ahead and put a 2x4, get a jack up, jack the engine up a little bit so that we can clear and get these manifolds out on that side, one on that side. All right, what Mike's doing right now is he has a very long pair of dikes, and he is fishing through the back side of the cat right here to snap the O2 sensor wirings that are mounted and fixed throughout the bay here, so that we can get that loose, so that when we pull it out, we're not ripping any of the sensors or anything like that. So once he gets that last clip out there behind there, we should be all free, and then we'll start trying to get these manifolds out of here. Alright, we just got the passenger driver side exhaust manifolds out. Absolute pain for the 4.7 liters. It looks like it comes out much easier on the 4.3 liters. But essentially, we kept getting caught. So we tried, we took studs out. So you can see here, we're missing some studs in the back to get some more pivotal room. And then we took the motor mount out completely. And they are these nuts right here, or bolts right here. You can barely see that with the lights. But 13 millimeter, took all those out, and we were able to get the motor mount that was sitting right here, this big piece of motor mount, which I think is right here. Hold on. Right here. So when you get this motor mount out, it sits right here, this big piece, and pull that out, the manifold just slides right out. So we're going to try to do the same on this side right here. And then the newer manifolds are extremely thinner compared to it, so I don't see a problem putting it back up there. So what we got to do now is we got to put the studs back in. We have to put the motor mount back in. We need to route the O2 sensor and get it all buttoned up, and then put the heat shield back in, and then get the manifolds back in. But first we're going to do this side. Okay, so you can see here on the left is the new manifold, much thinner. This cat right here was a bear to try to finagle out. You can see here I got all the marring on the manifolds, trying to maneuver it around in there. But even the way this one bends right here, this is the one that gave us the most issue. That bend kept getting caught on the torque tube. So this is much more condensed. It kind of bends at the top there, but it kind of thins out. And so I have a good feeling that this is going to go back in easier than it was taking it out. So. Okay, we just got the passenger side headers out. They were extremely easy. We did not have to go and get the motor mount out, but we did have to take this heat shield out, which is part of a connection onto the header, which you can see here and here. Those are the mounting tabs, and it kind of prevents the heat from burning out the starter, I guess, because it was between that and the starter. Not really sure how we're going to mount this back once we get the new ones in, because these manifolds don't have mounting sides on them, so we're going to figure that out. But now the plan is to route the O2 sensors, clean up that area, and we're going to go ahead and install this heat shield. We're going to cut some holes in it so we can route the extensions, and then hopefully get the new manifold. Alright guys, we just finished getting the manifolds out and getting everything buttoned back up. So we put all the studs back in that we needed to clear out so we can get some rotational movement in there. Those are E7 sockets, so there's 8 of those. We got them back in there. We got the, this is where we lifted the motor from right here with a block of wood. And we dropped that, so we put 15mm nut here, 15mm nut here. And then the motor mounts, we tightened back up. These are 13mm right here, 4 of them. And there is a nut on top of the motor mount, so that's 15mm as well. So same thing over here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Let's see if we get some light in there. There we go. Right, so 13mm here, 13mm here, and then 15mm on the top of the hat. It's very hard to kind of see everything, but shit, it's hard. Yeah, you can see those bolts right there. 1, 2, and there's 4 of them. So you just got to use a combination of wobbles and joints. All right, so the studs are in. The motor is secure again. Now we're gonna route the O2 sensors, and then we're gonna put the heat shield back up, drill a hole in them so we can kind of poke them out, and then we're gonna put the headers back in. So what we did there was we test fitted the manifolds, everything buttons up. We also wanted to, what you see Mike doing right there is he is marking the placement of the cats and where the bungs are so that we can line it up with the heat shield like you see there, so that we can drop it out of the heat shield and into the port where it needs to be. And then we're going to go cut that piece out, and then we're going to actually put the heat shield and set it in place, then put the manifolds in place, and then route, actually we're going to have to route the O2 sensors first. So yeah. Alright, we just finished making the holes here. We actually found a hole saw, 1.5 inch, and we ran it in reverse. So you got these really nice clean holes here. We're going to put this back up and then get the O2 sensors routed through here, and then put the manifold. Alright, so we just finished up routing. Mike did a phenomenal job here. We had to run one extension on the 4.7 liter. They said that you needed to run 4, but we only really ended up needing one extension. So that is on the upstream, which is right here. We ran an extension, and then Mike will show you how he routed it.
So on the passenger side, the clip is down here. On the driver's side, it's up here. So on the passenger side, you run the extension, and then you run it up and over around where the motor mount was, up through here, zip tied it, and then it's inside this heat shield with the other clip, and then you can see the zip ties used because this middle clip would not close. So that gave us the ability to get both connectors up in here and then start routing them through here and down so they're routed together, and then they come out. And that is the same exact thing that was done on this side, except the factory gives you both connectors here, and then you route the wires together all the way through here, and that's it.
Alright, so now we're gonna button up the heat shield and then get ready for the headers to be installed. If we're ready.
And we also, we used some of this cabling protector stuff. We're going to put that on here so that if there's any chafing here with the holes we cut in this aluminum heat shield, that'll give it some extra protection. Alright.
guys, we just finished putting the heat shield in. There's these bolts here, or nut here, and a couple bolts, so 10 mil. One here, 10 mil, 10 mil, and then one on the other side here. And then we have two down by the H pipes, 10 mil bolts, and that's it. So now it's time to put the headers in.